And although COVID case rates are falling at the moment here in Massachusetts and nationwide, public health officials are warning those numbers could go right back up as more contagious variants of the virus spread more widely. Several scientists have raised concerns about whether we might need new or additional booster vaccines to protect against the different strains. And while there hasn't been an official recommendation yet, many have started calling for double masking, as we've seen more and more public officials doing recently, including Vice President Kamala Harris, as she got her second vaccine dose yesterday. But the quality rather than the quantity of what you wear might matter more. As my next guest argues in a new Washington Post op-ed, everybody should be wearing N95 masks. Joseph Allen is an associate professor of exposure assessment science and the director of the Healthy Buildings program at Harvard School of Public Health. Joseph, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Why should we all be wearing those things we see healthcare professionals wearing in the hospitals? Why?
Well, look, we're a year into this pandemic, and early on when there was a mask shortage for healthcare professionals, specifically the high-grade N95 masks, anything was better than nothing for the general public, meaning cloth masks, simple cloth masks, great. Mm-hmm. We now have enough information, and we've seen the data on masks, to know that at a minimum, everyone should be wearing a 2 or 3 layer mask. Now, a blue surgical mask is a 3-layer mask. More importantly, what I argue in this piece is that we really need better masks beyond that. Surgical masks might get you 70% capture efficiency of respiratory particles and aerosols, but not N95 protection, 95% efficiency. So the op-ed is really a call really to the federal government to say we have to do a better job here, get N95s for healthcare. Unbelievably, there's still a shortage in healthcare, and for essential workers and for the rest of us. That can go a long way to slowing spread of the pandemic.
I don't want anybody to know, but I went on Amazon before the show. I try to avoid it as much as possible. I couldn't find one. When I typed in N95, I got the KN95s, the KF, I think, 94s. So unless Joe Biden buys into your notion, unless he embraces the Defense Production Act, this is a wonderful idea that's not going to happen because there's no supply, right?
Well, this is why we write op-eds, to influence the conversation, relying on the good science. The science says we all need better masks. If all of us are wearing these N95, or you say KF94 masks, that's the mask out of Korea that's just about equivalent, immediately we get over 99% reduction in exposure. That's the power of double mask, because it's 2 filters any particles have to go through. This is absolutely a call. We should be doing better, and these should be available for all of us. I agree. One of the key problems here is that for a consumer going on Amazon or anywhere else, it's difficult to know what to buy. A KF94, a KN95, an N95, and I can talk about what these are, or even to know if your cloth mask is good enough. A year into this pandemic, we should be beyond that. We should have standards that say this is an acceptable mask, and this is the grade mask, so consumers can feel reassured that what they're purchasing is actually providing the protection they need.
Well, give us a quick primer if you can. Is it I've read many articles that say can't trust the safety of the KN95s, which are buyable on Amazon and elsewhere. Others say, as you just suggested, they're close in terms of efficiency. Are you confident in what you're saying?
100% confident, and I'll tell you what I wrote in the op-ed, and it's my cheat sheet that I would give to people. First, the call is for more widespread use of N95s. If you can find them, great. The second I would go with is a KF94. KF designation is from certified manufacturers in Korea. This is what they're using widely in Korea. The 94 is 94% efficient, as the name implies, so that's great. KN95s you need to be careful with, because we've seen counterfeits from China that don't perform well. There's some KN95s that don't give you 95%, they'll give you 25%. So those give me pause. If you want good protection right now, and you can't find one of these special masks, or you're not sure of what to buy, you can always resort to double masking in the interim. And I wrote about this in the article, and here's what I mean by double masking. You could wear a blue surgical mask. Now, these are commonly and readily available and cheap. Blue surgical mask, and then on top of it, a cloth mask. And here's why the double masking makes sense. The power of masks depends on the 2 Fs, filtration and fit. So the surgical mask will give you good filtration, but air will come out the tops and sides. If you ever worn a surgical mask or seen someone and you see those gaps, the cloth helps the fit. That will keep it flush against your nose, side of your face, and down around your chin. So you can do filtration and fit with a double mask. Now, I also think we should choose masks based on the context. If you're going outside for a walk with a friend, a simple cloth mask is fine. But if you're an essential worker, you're going to be indoors for a long time around a lot of people, and you want better protection, and you can't find one of these N95 masks or a KF94, then go with the double mask. Surgical mask with a cloth mask on top for better fit.
Let me tell you, Professor, that was a hell of a tutorial in 90 seconds there. Before you go, if you can humor me for a second, I want you to take a look at a video that just put me over the edge in the last 24 hours. And I want to get your really quick reaction. Here is Senator Dr. Rand Paul on the floor of the Senate signing a book yesterday. His face may be, 2 feet away from a Senate clerk. And as you see, with no mask. In 30 seconds, what's your reaction to that?
I'll give it to you in 1 second. It's grossly irresponsible. We know that masks are the single most effective and simple tool to help slow down this pandemic while we all wait for vaccines. It's irresponsible. It's also totally disrespectful to the people he is around. Regardless of his beliefs on whether or not these work, they do work. It's basic aerosol physics and filtration, right? These masks capture aerosols from our respiratory system that may carry the virus. So it's unconscionable that he's not wearing these. And it's disrespectful. It's a sign of disrespect to his colleagues that he's not doing the simple act. It's such a simple act of wearing a mask.
That's what I was hoping to hear, Joseph Allen. Thank you so much for your time. You made my evening. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for having me on.